right, Giants fans, this is Tim. This is New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. I want to talk about our old friend and best buddy. That, of course, is Joe Schoen. We had the Hard Knocks the other night, and we did a video on it already, but I kept thinking to myself after watching it, and I had to go back and watch it again. Joe's going to get fired. He really is. He will be fired at the end of the 2025 season. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm not even gonna waver on a little bit. I'm not gonna be like a standard content creator and say, well, he could get fired if he doesn't get fired. No, he's gonna get fired. Just watching the way he runs this shit show in outside of MetLife, we should say, because they're not in MetLife, but outside of MetLife is amazing. It really is, and it's kind of scary because you see the way he talks to people, you see the way he's dismissive to people, you see the way that he is in regards condescending to his own owner. Now, Mara is not a saint in any of this. Mara has an emotional attachment to players. His father was the opposite. He would get rid of guys a year before you should have. He did that to Phil Simms. He did that to Mark Pavaro. He did that to Joe Morris. He did it to Leonard Marshall. He did it to multitudes of Giants. But John holds on too long. And sometimes it's good to have a GM that understands this and pushes the owner, not pushes the owner out of the way, but helps the owner nudge into a direction where he is okay with allowing players to leave. Joe Schoen kind of does this. But he kind of comes off like a dick doing it. Being honest. You watch his personality. You watch the way his demeanor. You watch his body language. We've been talking about body language in the Giants going back all the way to Joe Judge. We talked about the body language with our old buddy Shane during that first presser when I said hopefully he finds himself a little bit more comfortable in front of the media as his career progresses, because, you know, he had the bottle of water that he would drink quickly and rapidly every time there was a tough question. And while I think at times he has gotten better with the media, he's also become a little bit he's kind of a little dickheady. And not in the vein of Belichick, not in the vein of Bill Parcells, because they were allowed to do that because they won. Joe Schoen hasn't won anything. Joe Schoen as a general manager has won one playoff game and beat a bad Minnesota team, which one of the worst playoff defenses I've seen in 30 years. But it's his arrogantness, how arrogant he is at times, that he doesn't even listen to the people that he brought in. And you could see the level of discomfort on his subordinates when he talks to John Mara. Because I think they also know, Joe, this guy's the fucking owner. You know, he's like a child. Shane is. That's why I said that this is KidCo. There was a movie back in the 80s, kids movie called KidCo. And it was about this family, these kids that sold manure. And they sold it to golf courses and everything else. And then they started making money and the adults went after them. But I found it very apropos that they sold manure, because Joe's full of shit. And I don't think KidCo is going to last, because you saw the way he talks to Mara. I mean, he literally, Mara tells him, I'm not going to be happy if he goes to the Eagles. And Shane has this face where he's kind of like this weird grin almost. And the other guys in the room are like looking down going, wow, this is really fucking uncomfortable. That guy's the owner. Yeah, you need to do what you need to do to get this franchise on track. But when the owner, the assistant general manager, your scouts, some of your pro player personnel guys are all wanting the same thing, saying, hey, you know, maybe we need to bring Saquon back, and you are so rigidly inflexible about doing that you sit there and you're like, no, I'm not doing it, because I'm Joe Schoen, I know everything. I eat Crustables. I eat the rich people peanut butter and jelly. I just love that story. And I love it because the more and more they highlight Shane in this, because this is the Joe Schoen show. This isn't the New York Giants Hard Knocks. This is the Joe Schoen Hard Knocks. the more they highlight him, the more I don't like him. He seems like a swarmy used car salesman who's not good at his job. I'm just being, guys, listen, I'm just being 100% honest. When your coach goes to your general manager and your general manager looks at the head coach and says, if you could have one player, one position, what would it be? Your coach looked at him, offensive lineman. But what about Brian Burns? Last time I checked, Brian Burns does not play the offensive line. I don't think he does. But you are so intent on getting that name. You are so intent on building that Madden roster that you forgot you drafted a guy in Kayvon Tibido who was eerily identical and younger than the guy you just gave a truckload of money to. And it's the way he talks to agents, too. It's almost like he knows better than the agent. He knows better than this. And he's like, well, you got to promise me. You got to promise me you'll come back. I don't have to promise you shit, Joe. And the comment, well, we gave him a lot of money, but he didn't want to take it. The 2 episodes again still sticks in my craw. You gave him 1 year guaranteed and less than half guaranteed in year 2. Saquon Barkley, that is. That sticks in my craw to this day because you're lying. You have revisionistic history. And you don't really seem to listen to the people around you. At the end of the day, yes, the general manager makes the decision. But if someone brings something up and someone brings up something he doesn't like, he just ignores it and kind of gives it a smart-ass, cocky answer. You can be cocky all you want when you win. We talked about it with Crash Davis in your shower shoes. You know? You win 20 in the show, you can have fungus on your shower shoes. And the press will think you're colorful. You don't win 20 in the show, they just think you're a slob. And Joe just has this demeanor about him that in some regards, in some ways, he's kind of demeaning to the other people in the room. And I do find it really weird and really interesting that if you watch the body languages of his staff, they're always looking down or looking away when he talks. It's almost like, well, don't talk to me. I don't know. I just literally don't see it. And like I said, in the small reactions and interactions we've seen with him and John Mara, it doesn't look good. It makes the Giants look even more inept. Hard Knocks is never a good thing to be on. Never. You never want to be on Hard Knocks because if you're on Hard Knocks, you're on it because you're a shit show. And it's going to be good television. It's going to be good reality TV. And we all know reality TV is scripted. This is probably the closest you're going to get to reality TV. But at the end of the day, when you're watching this, you cringe a lot. And I can tell you because I've sat in NFL meeting rooms. I've sat in all types of scenarios for 2 NFL franchises. And yeah, and I've said it before, negotiations pretty much went like they went for the Giants. But it was just the fact that everything was about money for Shane. Everything was not. Let's not try to convince him on he could come here, he could be a success, he could do this, he could do that. Let's more give him the scenario. We'll give him more money. We got a hard cap at $4 million for Drew Lock, so we're giving him $5 million. You know, Arizona's going after the guy from the Raiders. He's making him a top. They're making him a top priority. So what do? We raise the ante more than we wanted to pay. Same thing with Runyon. The thought process and the theory was, let's not compete against the Jets. Let's not talk about our virtues. We're just going to give them more money. And like I said, some players, that's important. Yeah. Some players, though, you can convince to come into a situation if they think it's the best situation for their career. And Swarmy Joe, he doesn't seem to do that. It's just about money. And like I said, the way he interacts with other people, the way he's always wearing the sunglasses. Usually when someone's wearing sunglasses, especially indoors, it's because of the fact that they don't want you to see their eyes because they lack self-confidence. That's why I never wear sunglasses indoors. Because I got all the self-confidence in the world. But it's when you have this aura, this self-confidence, and you don't have the track record to back it up, you kind of just come off like a douche. And it's funny though, because I was starting to waver on Dable after last season, especially going in the middle of last season, because of some of his antics on the sideline, some of the other things that he does. But watching him behind the scenes, it's like the head coach has more of a grasp on what this team is and what this team needs than the general manager, and they should be working in relationship with each other. And it's almost like Joe's like, well, I'm going to ask you what you want to do, but I'm going to do what I want to do anyways. I'm going to ask you out of courtesy, and I'm going to kind of be condescending about it once you give me the answer, and the answer isn't what I want the answer to be. And I do really think when John Mara has a chance to reflect after this Hard Knocks, and if the Giants start off poorly, let's say the Giants start off 2-6. I think John Mara is going to start reflecting on what and the way he was treated, because he literally treats John Mara like he's a child. And that's kind of not the way to go. You should have some type of relationship with your owner. I'm not saying you need to be like in Dallas where the owner's always going to meddle, but you need to have some relationship to the guy that signs the checks and the guy that signs your check. And that's why I just don't think he's going to be here. I think what's going to happen is the Giants are going to start like 2-6 or 1-7 or something like that. John Mara is going to get a chance to reflect. The season's going to go off the rails again. Daniel Jones is either going to miss games or just not be good. And then at the end of the day, around week 16, 17, he is going to make the decision to fire Joe Schoen in the offseason. Book it. Mark it down. I don't know what today is, the 17th, the 18th. I think it's the 18th. I think this is Thursday, so I think it's the 18th now. Book it. And so all the people are like, well, I'm gonna bookmark this, so when you're wrong, I could play it back to you. Go ahead. I don't care. Because I'm not gonna be wrong. I haven't been wrong about a lot. Of course, people say, you were wrong about Malik Willis. Okay. If that's really the best you got, I've been doing pretty good over the last 4 years. We're gonna have our big training camp preview, I think, on Friday. Then we'll also have the live stream on Sunday, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the damn bell, because you know what? I don't know why. This is Tim, this is New York Giants Straight Talk, and I'm out of here.